Right now, we want to continue our coverage of the mistrial in the Brett Hankison case. We are joined by Louisville attorney Nick Mudd.
That's right. As we went on the air at 5 o'clock, the judge declared a mistrial at the federal courthouse downtown. Nick, you've tried federal cases. Your take on how this happened, the give and take today, and why it led to a mistrial?
I think when you deal with a case like this, it's very polarizing. And unlike state court, who pulls from a specific county with the jury, in a case like this, the jurors come from all over the Western District of Kentucky. So you may have some jurors from Jefferson County, you may have some jurors from Paducah, Kentucky. So you got a whole hodgepodge of people who really do have different political beliefs and different views on policing and things like that.
So paint a picture for what comes next. Now we have a mistrial. Is it likely that this case goes to court again, that the prosecution tries to take it back to trial?
So there's multiple options of what could happen. It could go to trial again, which would probably be several months away. I know that Judge Jennings, she's a wonderful federal judge, but she's got a packed calendar and you can't just add a trial on and cancel everything else. The second thing is it could get dismissed. That does happen periodically. It has happened with cases that I've had that have mistried and hung. The prosecution just says, you know what, we took a bite at the apple, we didn't win, we didn't lose, but we didn't win, we're not going to spend any more resources.
Or you said there could be a plea in this case. Explain that. Would he plead in some fashion to one of these charges?
That could happen as well, and that's kind of the third option, and I would say the most likely that's happened in a lot of cases that I've had. Generally, if there is a hung jury, the mistrial will offer you a little bit better deal than they offered before. However, in a case like this that's so polarizing, I don't know if the prosecution would offer a plea less than what they may have offered already. And the other thing would be, I don't know if Detective Hankison or Brett Hankison would want to take anything in this case.
Just a few minutes ago, we were talking a little bit about the jurors in this case and what happens with them. You were saying they have an opportunity just to walk away, never be known to anyone, never have to explain themselves. What are the options there?
Generally, in any case I've had, I always want to talk to the juror afterwards. What did I do wrong? What did I do right? Just to kind of get better. And if the hung jury, you want to know, hey, what do I need to do next time? But jurors have no obligation to talk to lawyers. They have no obligation to talk to the media. They don't have any obligation to talk to anybody. They're entirely anonymous, and if they want to walk out the door and never speak another word about it, they're allowed to do that.
Let's talk about the jury, since you have interviewed them in cases afterwards, because you want to get to the bottom of what happened. Okay, deliberation started Monday at about 5 o'clock. Here we are Thursday, it ends. This jury was made up of 6 men, 6 women, 1 black juror. So talk about what you think the discussions were the last several days.
I assume they went through all of the evidence. However, on cases like this that are so polarizing, the fear is always from both sides that you have jurors that walked in the door right away and either, hey, he's guilty or hey, he's innocent, and didn't listen to the evidence. I'm not saying the jury did that here, but you may have had 1 or 2 jurors that were very, very polarizing on both sides, and no matter what the evidence was, you weren't going to get a verdict if it didn't satisfy them.
What is your opinion? Does this go back to another trial? Do you think they'll try to bring it again?
It's a very good question. I think it's going to go to another trial, probably sometime next year. It wouldn't surprise me.
We've got the other officers involved in the Breonna-Taylor case, though. They're coming down the line for federal trials. Do you think they would put his at the very end of that?
It could continue their cases, because they may want to still do this as a trial run to see what happens, to see what they do with the rest of the cases. So there's a chance that the prosecution may say, let's continue the other ones and start back here and see what happens first before we make a decision on the rest of them.